I'm Shobana. I'm going to discuss about law of demand. Let's first see the evolution of law of demand. It was first stated by Charles Davenden in his famous essay Probable Ways of Making People Gainer in Balance of Trade. It was even earlier demonstrated by Gregory King. He said if the harvest of wheat decreases by 50%, its price would increase by 500%. Now, fast forwarding to 1890, let's see what the father of microeconomics, Alfred Marshall, has to say about law of demand. When we say that a person's demand for anything increases, we mean that he will buy more of it than he would before at the same price, and that he will buy as much of it as before at a higher price. This was stated by Alfred Marshall. Let's see a pictorial representation of law of demand. When the price goes up, the quantity demanded goes down. In the same way, when the price goes down, the quantity demanded goes up. We could see that the price and quantity are inversely related to each other. This, the law, this law of demand only holds when the assumption remains constant. Let's see the various assumptions in the later slides. Since it's based on an assumption, this law of demand is hypothetical. Law of demand holds true assuming all determinants of demand except price remain unchanged. The determinants of demand can be anything related to goods, service, income, taste, preference, or even expectations. There are two kinds of demand: elastic demand and inelastic demand. In elastic demand, the quantity is significantly affected by the price. In contrast, in an inelastic demand, the price doesn't much affect the quantity purchased. Let's go through the video. As you can see in the first graph, how the price is inversely related to quantity. In the second graph, it shows the elastic demand. In the third graph, it shows the inelastic demand. The fourth picture here shows the different determinants of demand. Let's see some of the assumptions of law of demand. First of all, the income of the consumer must remain constant. With an increase or decrease in a consumer's income, his or her personal preferences or shopping demand may vary, which would in turn affect the law of demand. In the same way, the taste, habit and preference of the consumer must remain same. The prices of other related goods should not change. For example, with a rise in petroleum price, there may be an reduction in the sales of motorbike cycles. There should be no substitute for the commodity instead. For example, electrical bikes usage or invention may reduce the sales of normal petroleum bikes. The demand for the commodity must be continuous. There should be an equal demand as there is an production. There should not be any change in the quality of the commodity, because if the quality decreases, the consumers may feel dissatisfied with the product, which would in turn affect his demand, which would in turn affect the law of demand. Given these assumptions, the law of demand operates. If there is change even in one of these assumptions, the law will not operate. Let's see why the law of demand is important. Together with the law of supply, the law of demand helps in determining why a price of a particular product changes. It may suddenly become overpriced or even become underpriced. The law of demand crucially plays the role in determining why, the cause behind the sudden change in its price. We have so far seen what is law of demand and some of the assumption of which should be hold true in order for the law of demand to work, and also why law of demand is important. Let's conclude this lecture by going through exceptions of law of demand. Law of demand will greatly be affected if there is an war, depression, demonstration effect, given paradox, speculation, ignorance effect, and necessity of life. Also, law of demand wouldn't be true if any one of the assumptions which I have stated earlier doesn't hold. Let me conclude this lecture on law of demand by saying law of demand is basically there in order to predict or know why there is a sudden upprice or underprice of a certain product.